get to talk about great things right here. And great things on Impact Business Radio comes in various ways and in various forms this morning. The final lap of Rise and Shine is definitely ongoing this morning. And what are we going to be doing? If you can pick from the various tracks that have been coming your way, you know, we are celebrating the life and times of our father, our royal father, who was going to rest with his ancestors. Oh my. The late Babawa Kabiesi Oba Samuel Odulano Odugade I lived a fulfilled, wonderful, glorious, amazing, great. What other adjective could I have to classify? Fulfilling, yes. When I listened to His Excellency, the Governor of your state, speak about him, I was moved. When I listened to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and the Senate President, everybody had great words to say. And this morning, it's really a pleasure to have him here, even though he is such a very busy man. He's got limited moments to be with us this morning. He was a former secretary to 4 former governors of old Oyo State between 1983 and 1989.
He's also a journalist, author, PR consultant, and senior traditional chief of Ibadan land.
Also, what do you have about him?
Daddy this morning is also a 4-time coordinator of Sketch Press Limited, and is the pioneer general manager of corporate affairs, Odua Investment Company Limited. And we have no other person than Oloye Lekon Alabi, the Ààrẹ Alasa Olubadan of Ibadan land. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you. Good morning to the production crew. And may I say congratulations to your board of directors, management, and of course, the staff. Good morning, and good morning to your listeners.
Thank you. Good morning. For some of us like this, where yes, we grew up in your hands, and we know you so well. We've always met out there, and I don't think you will change your style of dressing. It's you and your kembe and the cap. And is there significance to this?
Yeah, because it is my culture, of which I am proud, as the patriotic Chinese, Arab, French, German, English, Scot, Ewe in Ghana, the Zulu in South Africa. We be proud of his or our culture. And since we all know that every race and tribe was created by God Almighty, and in His infinite wisdom and might, He gave each tribe a culture, and the culture embraces your language, the mother tongue, your food, your dress, music, philosophy. So dress falls under the umbrella of culture.
Amazing.
It's very important for us to embrace our culture, and this is a very good example, especially to the youth out there. You know, so many of us don't want to embrace our culture anymore, and so these are things we should emulate, and that's very good.
Now, if you allow me to interject,
right.
For that statement, she so said that the youth must follow their culture. We must give it to the youth that all over the world there is a period of which you are under impression and fancy. You like good things that may not be yours, but you must never ever subordinate yours to the foreign, because the youth of today in Nigeria, particularly Western region, the Yoruba land, and any other place, they must not forget that their fathers, their grandparents, great-grandparents once were youths too, with all modesty, I was a youth, and I think I moved with the times. If you saw pictures or films of me and my peers 30, 40 years ago, you will know that we also rocked.
You're still rocking.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But there must be a limit
Mm.
to everything.
Yes.
The pair of the Nigerian youth in, say, Canada is not as crazy as the Nigerian youth is about the Canadian dressing, fashion, and music. And you may even get a demeaning answer if you take it to a teenager in New Zealand and ask him or her what's the capital of a country called Nigeria. The response you may get is, where
It's
where is
Nigeria.
which country is that? And you get here, knowing even some so-called adults, they know the names of the in-law of the captain of the so-called blues brains of this world, Kinikon Chelsea, Kinikon Ghana, and yet they don't know the point where Shooting Stars finished at the last season.
Obviously.
All this you must correct.
Obviously.
There is no limitation to enjoying life,
Definitely.
but you must never subjugate or subordinate your own culture.
Now let's get down to the basis of why you are here, and it has to do with a fulfilled life lived by our royal father, our father, Oba Samuel Odulano Odugade the First, who just passed on Tuesday. How would you describe him?
Thank you very much. Kabiesi's life and times are there open like a book, particularly when he clocked a century 2 years ago. The whole world knew his background. Kabiesi, the late Olubadan Odugade I, was the ideal person. There's no ideal person in the world, but is the ideal role model. If you look at Kabiesi's birth, education, growth, rise. So if you look at it from his birth and life chart, born in a village, forced to go to school in his family, started as a teacher, moved on to be a counselor, and then he was also a proprietor or promoter of 2 secondary schools in Ibadan, Lagelu Grammar School and Igboyere Grammar School. From there to the Federal House of Representatives as an independent political candidate. Note that, independent.
Political candidate.
He went to the Federal House of Representatives on his personal merit. Because then there were Action Group, NCNC, NPC, and what have you. So he became parliamentary secretary to late Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa.
Yes.
Thereafter became Labour Minister of Nigeria. After the coup of January 15, 1966, he left politics and went into private life and became the Magaji of his family and rose through the 22 steps on the Otun Olubadan line to become Olubadan and created a record of being 100 years old on the stool. So if you look at this in totality, just one person. But let me say that the Olubadan traditional chieftaincy system is typifying the word of God, that God says, I, that is God, will create and make leaders for you people. So the Olubadan traditional chieftaincy system emphasizes that God's law, that if you have come to the world with a crown figuratively on your head at birth from heaven, you will wear it. That is the beauty, one of the beauties of the Olubadan traditional system. If God created you for that throne, you will get there. So Kabiesi Odugade and his predecessors and his successors will get there by that God divine order.
Now, let's look at, everybody keeps saying it, and when I heard His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari say that his wealth of intellect will be highly missed, to you, as a royal father in the chieftaincy lineage here in this part of in Ibadan, how do you assess that intellectual ability of Baba Olubadan?
Thank you very much. The another beauty of the Ibadan traditional system is that you first of all get appointed as the head of your family, Mogaji.
Mogaji.
And I spent 7 years learning under the feet of the late Olubadan, Arapasowu I. May he so rest in peace. 7 years as his unofficial director of protocol, speechwriter, and confidant, with all due respect. And he taught me and told me that 3 chieftaincy titles are very important in Ibadan land, and by extension, the whole world. The first one is the Mogaji. That is, you, whose mother, was married into your father's family. You got conceived, you were born, raised, and in the end, you have been chosen as the head of that family.
Mogaji.
Kabiyesi Arapasowu said, the mother, if alive, should be rolling in praises to God. That my son, that I conceived here in my husband's family, is now their head. That's the first one. Then your family, yourself, your well-wishers pray that you get promoted to the 2 lines that lead to the Olubadan throne. That is the Otun Olubadan and the Balogun lines. And you get promoted because it has the behest of any reigning Olubadan as the prescribed authority to pick out of the 1001 Mogajis. That's another great mark in your life, because you have now been promoted to the line that will carry you, if it is your destiny, to the Olubadan stool. Kabiyesi now said the third most important is if any titled traditional chief eventually climbs the 22 steps on the Olubadan line, the 23 steps on the Balogun line, and you reach the throne. So Kabiyesi, the late Odugade I, and his predecessors and his successors, because that is the process established by our forefathers, is extremely lucky for any Mogaji to get promoted and for you to rise. And please note that the promotion is not by examination, it's not by might, it's not by connection, it's not by your wealth. It is automatic that once a vacancy occurs and you have not run against the law as to be removed, you are going to the next rank. And it is not annual, nor is it weekly, or it is timeless. You cannot carry a diary now and say, oh, this is January 23, 2016. By January 23, 2019, I will be in this position. No. So you can see any Olubadan that went through that rigor is at the mercy of God. So, whereas they calculate the tenure for the Olubadan on the day he is coronated, I think it will be fair to Ibadan to start calculating from the day you were made a Mogaji. And it should add those years to the year of you spend on the throne. In the case of the late Kabiyesi Odugade, I think we should now start reckoning his reign, instead of saying 2007 to 2016, to the year he was made the Mogaji of his family, 1972.
1972.
Yes, the Olubadan designate, High Chief S.A. Adetuji, in the press interview he gave yesterday, he said it has taken him 40 years.
Waiting.
Yeah, because he was made the Mogaji in 1976.
40 years.
My humble self, talking to you, I was made Mogaji of my family in year 2002.
Oh my goodness.
I did not get promoted until 8 years after.
Mine.
I was promoted Jagun Olubadan 8 years after I became a Mogaji. So, you talk about wisdom.
Yes.
Now, please start calculating for the late Odugade 76 and 72 to 2007.
Mine. 70. Wow.
You will have gathered more than enough experience in administration, culture and tradition, justice. Think of all the lessons of life, because being the head of your family means performing the role of the head, and with all the attendant courses,
Man.
CAUSES. So, if you now add those years, every Olubadan, by the time he is coronated, with due respect to all other monarchs in the whole world, with due respect to them, the Olubadan has had what we call cumulative experience. Because in the course of rising, getting promoted, if the Olubadan so desires and appoints you into the traditional council, there are 11 local government councils in Oyo State and in Ibadan. So Ibadan has 11 out of the 33 LGAs in Oyo State. And you are appointed to the traditional council of one. I am a member of a local government traditional council. You add that to the experience you are gaining. Because being on the traditional council of a local government, one of our principal roles is to offer advice to the local government. So if you sum all this up with what the Olubadan is bringing, education, experience, job experience, Kabiyesi Odugade was a soldier of the British Army
Yes.
in the Second World War, had all this, international civil servant. Like his predecessor, the late Olubadan Openide, who was also a soldier, and he served in India, Kenya, among other countries. So all these Olubadans, when they get to the throne, they will have accumulated over 25, because let us say an average of 25, 30, 35 years before you get to the throne after being made Mogaji. So what do you expect? You are going to have a seasoned, experienced, matured Olubadan who, with all due respect, has seen it all. That is why you see Olubadan being the peaceful, matured kings that they always are.
All right. Now, earlier on, you said that Chief Adetunji is the
High Chief.
High Chief Adetunji, but there's been a little bit of controversy between the Balog of Ibadan Land, as High Chief Adetunji, and the Otu Seriki of Ibadan Land, as Chief Adebayo Oyediji. So, can you shed more light on this controversy and the next Olubadan of Ibadan Land?
Thank you very much. High Chief Ajibola Abimbola was designated by the Olubadan Council on, today is Friday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Oh, today is Saturday. God bless you, because it's like I'm at work and you are at
I
work.
know, I understand much more. All right,
Was,
sir.
3 days ago, was mandated by the Olubadan Council to speak on their behalf. And you, of course, your station carried his statement, reported all over the world. High Chief Ajibola, speaking on behalf of Olubadan Council, said, I quote him, "There is no controversy in any form." He went further to say that the principal, which you have quoted as now saying it was his turn or their turn, was designated and made known to be Otun Seriki, not even the Seriki of Ibadan Land. According to the statement of the Olubadan Council, as highlighted by High Chief Ajibola, the last Seriki of Ibadan Land was the late Chief High Chief AMA Akinloye, which means as of today, there is no Seriki, because no Olubadan has promoted, has made any or given approval to the Seriki line since High Chief Akinloye died. This is a matter of law. This is a matter of tradition and custom. And it is high time the black man submits himself or herself to the law of the land.
Custom, yeah.
Yesterday I was on another program on a radio station, and I said, this so-called Western world, USA, United States of America, United Kingdom, Italy, Germany, mention them, they present themselves to us as angels, whereas they are human beings. And we too will look up to them as angels because they comport and keep to the law. And I gave an example yesterday, which I'm repeating here this morning. Bill Clinton, about 3 presidents away, from Obama of the United States of America became so popular, despite the Monica Lewinsky scandal, that American Congress and people thought about amending their constitution that will allow for a third term, because Bill Clinton government brought down inflation to zero, unemployment almost to zero, and all the forces of the USA, which the Republican government had sent to needless wars, were returned home, and the economy was very buoyant. So they were toying with the idea of amending the constitution so that Clinton could have an unprecedented third term. But they didn't do it. Maybe they are still working at it. So his deputy, or his vice, Al Gore, contested for the president with Mr. Bush Jr. And you know that election was controversial because for a week, the American media was putting it out to the whole world that too close to call, undecided. Eventually, Mr. Bush was declared the winner. So Mr. Al Gore went to court, and the case was decided by the US Supreme Court, and they gave judgment in favor of Mr. Bush. What did Al Gore do? Al Gore accepted, the Democrat accepted the judgment, and everybody went their way. Eventually, Mr. Gore was given the Nobel Award for Peace. Please note all this.
Yes.
People may be asking, kí wá ní ìyẹn ti bá ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n ń bí nípa controversy tó sí Ìbàdàn kò sí controversy. What I'm now trying to say is, if because the whole world knew that Mr. Gore won that election. How? Weeks after Mr. Bush, the warmonger, was now declared the president of the USA, uncounted ballot papers were found floating in a river close to the capital where his younger brother, Jeff Bush, was governor. That was enough evidence for them to start another hula baloo. But they said, no, let it go. So it went. America now appears to be peaceful, even from that time. So the black man and woman must submit himself and herself to the rule of law. Do you have anything agitating your mind? Don't take to violent demonstrations, acrimony, go to court. But in this one, Olubadan is the prescribed authority. Governor is the consenting authority. And Ibadan traditional system is being hailed all over the world as being unique. When the colonialists came, in their assessment of the groups and races and tribes all over the world, what they wrote about the Yorubas to the colonial office in London was, this set of people are civilized and very, very administratively governed by their kings and baales. That is our report, the Yoruba people. And look at it, Ibadan now in particular. The unique system was designed by our ancestors through the guidance of God, because it is non-existent elsewhere. And look at that system that allows, because Ibadans, we are Republicans, there are no permanent ruling houses. Once you are an indigenous family in this Ibadan land, and you choose a Magaji, and at the behest of the Reni Olubadan, that Magaji gets promoted, and his star, he will get to the throne. So again, let us submit ourselves to the will of God, which I said earlier, that the Ibadan traditional system emphasizes. You cannot bring out a diary and calculator and be saying, in 6 months, in 2 years I'll be. No, you can't be. You will only be what God has sent you to be.
At that time, it's your turn. Right. Let's look at Baba. From your you have wined and dined, you have lived, you have heard, you have spoken, you have done virtually everything with Oba Odulano Odugade the First. In your own assessment, one uniqueness amongst the numerous Baba had will be what? What will you pick out? His uniqueness, his this, is that. That you have grabbed and you are living with up to this moment.
Thank you very much. Remember, I was press secretary to 4 governors of old Oyo State, the late Chief Bola Ige, retired Major General Olada Agopola, retired Brigadier General Adetunji Oluni, and the late Brigadier General Shasha Eniyan Oresanya. You will give it to me that in my position, I will have seen the inner chambers of the traditional system of old Oyo State, which is today Oyo plus Osun.
Yes.
Particularly the rage of the chairmanship tussle between Alaafin of Oyo and the late Ooni Sijuade. And I told you that for 7 years, Kabiyesi Olubadan Arapasowo I took me under his wings. And you have said, as a senior traditional chief, yes, it's like any of my peers and my seniors, we have access into the inner chambers of the Olubadan. So you see, with due respect and modesty, I am not limited to just Ibadan. I've seen for 6 years that I was press secretary, the inner recesses of the traditional system in Yoruba land. One quality, because you have limited me to just one quality of Kabiyesi Olugade one.
Because I know he's
Yes,
endowed.
several.
When we have a documentary we have actually put together for him, which we'll play right after, and it's more his uniqueness. We all stated it, but as a person whom you have mingled with, you have dined, we have moved.
I will say you have limited me to just one, but I will make it a twin engine.
All right.
Integrity and courage, like all Olubadans, like all our past ancestors. If not for the Ibadan army, the area now called Yoruba land would have been overrun in the 19th century by the jihadists from the north. It was the Ibadan army, under the royal instructions of Iba Oluyole and captaincy of our heroes, the war commanders, the Bikules, Oden-in-laws, including my great-great-grandfather, Ekerin Ajengbe. My great-great-grandfather, Suberu Ajengbe, was Ekerin Balogun in this land during the reign of Olubadan Fijabi I, 1890 to 1893.
Amazing.
My great-great-grandfather, Ajengbe, was a signatory to the MOU between the British colonialists and Ibadan. So you can see the character of our ancestors, bold people. They went to confront the jihadists outside Osogbo, defeated them, and drove them far beyond Offa. Otherwise, the area called Yoruba land today will be doing taho, and dressing like the jihadists. So that is our history. So any Ibadan son, daughter, who is a true born, must imbibe those qualities among others. So Kabiyesi Olugade, because you have limited me to just one quality, integrity and courage, boldness like a lion, of which we, his sons and daughters too, possess. Integrity and courage. Once you have not soiled your great name, your family name, and your character, you'll be bold like a lion to face any situation. Wow.
All right. Now, it has been reported that the burial has been stated on February 12th. So, we'd like to ask, is this burial going to be a church burial, or is it going to be traditional?
Kabiyesi was a Christian. His family are Christians. His Excellency, the Governor of Oyo State, broke the news to us yesterday of the burial plan. The committee, as the Governor said, which will include himself, the burial planning committee, it is their prerogative to draw a program and make it known to the world. I don't have the authority to speak on their planning.
We'll wait to them. But the life and times of Baba, our father, Pa, the Oba of the Olubadan of Ibadan. We're just going to play
Ibadan land.
Of Ibadan land.
Thank you.
We're going to play this. I know you're so very paramount when it comes to
because out of the 33 local governments in Oyo State areas, Ibadan has 1/3, 11. Is that a town anymore? From Bakatari, our boundary with Abeokuta, to Ashejire Dam, and then the spread to Ologunẹru to the west, and Olomi, many Olomi, Ogbere Toya, to the east. That is no more a town. In size, population, infrastructure, Ibadan is greater than many African countries and other countries of the world.
Obviously. Now, I know one thing that Baba tried to get before death came calling was the agitation to have Ibadan State. How feasible is this?
Thank you very much. Without primordial consideration, Ibadan has been cheated by past governments of this country, in that all divisions of Ibadan level had become states, even some 30 years back. So when the people, I remember during the reign of Kabiyesi Olubadan Arapasowu I, when the national population team came to the palace on a courtesy visit, and they were not even southerners, those who made comments, because they took them round. The area I told you now, they started from Bakatari, passed through all that area, Omiadiu, Apata, Odono, Dugbe. They came to a conclusion that, no, these people, you have been cheated for long. Look at all the infrastructures on the ground. So it's not a matter of being tribalistic or anything. The papers that were submitted to the National Assembly, they saw it, the facts and figures. So let me quote the statement credited to one immediate past president of the Senate, Dr. David Mark. He said, I'm quoting him now, reported in the media, he said, if only one state is going to be created.
All right, definitely we're still talking about the life and times of our father, Oba Samuel Odulano Odugade I, the Olubadan of Ibadan land, this morning on Rise and Shine from Impact Business Radio, IBR 92.5 FM. Yes, I still have the Are Alasa in the house because it's one person is so very particular about that, the way you pronounce it. You don't funkify it and you pronounce it the way it has to be. And that's why I am doing this. So I hope I got Are Alasa.
You got it.
Okay. So
you are a man of culture too. And again, you have created another opportunity for me to say this. Why are people anglicizing their names? Why are they spelling Adebayor as Hadaybayor?
oh my God.
The Englishman is not spelling his name in Swahili.
Just coming in is wow.
Mother.
I remember the dean of Impact
School of Communication.
when he was calling this morning, he was like, Your Royal Majesty. And I think I would rather start like that as well. Your Royal Majesty.
Princess Sade Odulano Bankide. She's the daughter of the late Olubadan of Ibadan land. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you very much.
Morning, ma.
I'm not a royal majesty.
I
belong to the royal family. My father was the royal majesty.
Just going by Wofemi Makwadenu, the way, because I was with him when he called, so I was wondering, Our Royal Majesty, man, then we must actually put a red rug when we have to file.
You really don't need that.
It's our pleasure, and we say congratulations, because this is not, it's not something to cry about.
It's a celebration of
it's
life.
A celebration of life.
Yes,
And looking at Arialasa, looking at you, you know that, wow, Baba has left great kids behind.
Yes.
And on our part at Impact Business Radio, IBR 92.5 FM, Nigeria's first business radio, we say congratulations. And we wish you all the very best in life as well.
Thank you very much.
I was asking Are, we've been talking a while about a couple of things. But before we go back to him now, I want to ask you, Mummy, that now Baba is, I won't say Baba is gone, because Oba Odulano is still a part of us, because he has imbibed a whole lot, even to us as members of this community, of this city, great city called Ibadan. We know him from afar, though, except when we have to do some journalism thing. We have to go and cover, interview him, and he speaks. He welcomes us easily. You are his daughter. What would be that great thing you say, wow, you're missing about daddy? No matter how old you are, you remain a baby to him.
Daddy's
Sure,
daughter.
sure. Well, what I will indeed miss from him is his advice,
Mm.
his forthrightness, his truthfulness, his discipline. Because even as old as I am, if he hears that I do anything bad, he will still call me. Don't do so again. You will rather, short of him taking a cane to beat, but he will so talk to you that you will know that yes, you have really done something, not really pleasant. So I will miss all those. And I will miss his prayers because Baba was, Baba loved God. He loved God. The first thing he will say to you when you see him is, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. I thank God Jesus has not come. Sure, you know Jesus. If you know Jesus, you better hold on to him very well. Hold on to him very well. And if you don't know Jesus, know him. That is it. So those are just few things I will miss about him.
What was it like growing up with him? Yes, he's a royal father, but as a daughter, what was it like growing up with him?
Tough.
How? Why say tough?
Yes. Baba was somebody that valued education so much. You can't believe I went to boarding house when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
The first private primary school in Ibadan, Alafia Institute Primary School, was established around that time. Baba just packed the last two. Then, myself and my immediate junior brother, Jide. Jide was about 5. Just packed all of us because he wanted, Baba values education so much, and he valued not only education but valued education.
Wow.
He loved education. So he did everything. Just go to the boarding house so that so that they can, we can really be what we are today.
Wow.
And we give him all, we really thank him for that. He impacted so much integrity, so much value into our lives.
Okay. Now, what would... I'm going to hold you down, Princess. Now, Are, final words concerning from you that that will live on in the minds of people concerning Oba Odulano Odugade the First.
Thank you very much. Because you said I must complete a statement that was making about my
Exactly.
state,
Now,
which was a passion of Kabiyesi Olúbàdàn Odugade.
yes,
So,
please.
the former Senate President David Mark was quoted in the media as saying, if we are going to create just one state, it will be Ibadan State. So we are waiting. It's a pregnancy. By the grace of God, we are going to have the delivery of a bouncing Ibadan State. And amen. And as for my last word on this interview about Kabiyesi, you limited me to just one characteristic of Kabiyesi. I made it twin.
Yes.
And I said, integrity and courage, boldness of a lion, which we, his children, too possess. Once you are a man or woman of integrity, you are ready to face anybody in the world. So
Wow.
It's not only limited to the royal families, Ibadan land, all over Nigeria and the world. Let everybody be a man or woman of integrity. And then you must be bold. Say the truth always.
Okay.
Say the truth always.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you
We have
very,
been
very
speaking
much,
with,
sir. Yes, if you're just joining us, we've been speaking with Oloye Lekan Alabi. He's the Arialasa Olubadan of Ibadan land, and he's been talking to us about the life and times of the late Olubadan of Ibadan land. We really appreciate you for coming around this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We're still on the life and times of Oba Samuel Odulano Odugade the First, and we'll take the life and times of our father, Baba Odulano Odugade, what we put together. And if you probably have not known, he was a warrior. He was a man that had confidence, boldness, and when I heard that he was actually part of those that saw the Second World War. I was moved. And we are celebrating the life and times of Oba Odulano Odugade the First. A man that's filled with integrity. A man that's filled with confidence, courage, intellect, discipline, as attributed by every one of us. If you don't know, you better know now. Wow. His mommy, the daughter of our very amiable and amicable Oba Samuel Odulano Odugade. Princess Shade Odulano Bankole is still here. Has anybody told you that you look like daddy?
Of course.
Oh
of
my
course, of
goodness.
course.
The feminine version of that.
Immediately you stepped in, I looked at and wow, this is
Kabiesi.
Kabiesi.
I know. All of us, all the 10 children.
My
Wow.
goodness,
Yeah.
10 of you.
There are 10 of us.
My.
5 men and 5
A
women.
balanced equation.
Balanced equation.
Oh,
But he has so many adopted children, so
all
many
of
of
us.
them.
Every one of
Yeah,
us.
Yes.
yeah.
You know, when he became the Oiba, you know, I was used to calling him Baba. He
Okay.
now called me, said, now, I'm your father. But don't forget, now that I'm the Oba, I have more than 5 million children.
Wow, wow. Now, to be honest now, how do you feel on Tuesday?
Well, natural.
Obviously.
You know, I felt bad. I cried. But then I now started, you know, thinking of what Baba had done. The impact he left behind, especially in Ibadan land and in the whole world. Because by 2 a.m., I was receiving text messages on WhatsApp, telephone calls from all over the world. At a point at about 4 a.m., I received a call from CNN wanting to find out if Baba was indeed,
Oh,
you know,
boy.
dead. So I told him, I said, yes, he's dead. But I really thank God. I felt bad, but at the same time, I want to thank God because, you know, he was 101, looking at 102, and he was always praying that, look, no matter how old he is, he prays that he never buried any of his children. And God really, really answered his prayer. He didn't bury any of us. His children, his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, his great-great-grandchildren, all of them are alive. So I really want to thank God. Then thirdly, I want to really thank God because he left a legacy. That will be very, very difficult. A very big shoes that will be difficult for anybody, you know, to just step in. When I think of what Baba did when he was young and when we were young, when he was scolding us, because he gave us the best. Baba valued education so much. The least among us, you know, has an OND, Ordinary National Diploma, before he went into business. He will tell you, look, the best thing I can give you is education. So he made sure that all of us are well educated. If you were able to make it to the bachelor's, it would just encourage you, just your master's, do your master's. And if you want to go further, go for your PhD. You know, when I told him I was going to retire, you know, I retired as a director, of course, at 60, from NTA. He said, look, why don't you try and do a PhD, which I started in his lifetime. Wow. Actually, he gave me money to go and collect the form. It's just a pity that by the time I finish, he will not be alive. But I will present it to him. I will take it to his grave and I will say, Baba, thank you so much. This was what you wanted me to do, and I finished doing it.
Wow, this is emotional. It's really
very, 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 very emotional.
Because I mean, oh, wow, that's good. Looking at him, yeah, just as Randy said while we were talking with, speaking with Arek, that some of us, his adopted children, we were just on, unless we had a mission to the palace or to the home. That was our closeness to him. But as a daughter, you know those things, those attributes that Baba had, that you are using up to this moment. What would some of them be like?
Honesty.
Honesty. Wow.
Integrity. Like I said, forthrightness. Then Baba was very close to God. And he made sure that all of us, all the children, both the biological, the adopted, and as many people you could preach to, he would tell you that you just have to accept God as your personal Lord and Savior. So those are just some of the things I will miss. he was so close to God to a fault that anytime you see, thank God, Jesus they don't know, and Jesus has not come today. Show my Jesus, that is, do you know Jesus? Just make sure if you know him, hold him very well, oh. And if you don't know him, you better know him. You know, his advice, so many things. When you have challenges, you go to, you tell you, challenges, what kind of challenges do you have that God cannot solve? He will ask you to take it to God. The first thing, if he says Jesus, he will solve the problem for you. And you know, for your father to tell you that one, it will soothe your heart. So there is somebody that can tell you that, do you know, before you start pressing buttons, he will tell you, go and complain to Jesus and lay it at his feet. And definitely he will see you through. Wow. So those are just some of the things.
Wow.
Okay, Mami. Now you said that Baba had 10 children.
Yes.
What was his relationship like with his children? Even after he became Olubadan, was he still close to the children? What was the relationship like?
He was very, very close to his children. Now, when he became Olubadan, when we did the Thanksgiving service at St. Peter's Church, on that Sunday, he called us and almost in tears, he was saying, thank you. All of you, you did all this for me, from Ato Journey. And he said one thing that I would never forget. He said, look, you celebrated me. Your children, your grandchildren will celebrate you, now and at your old age. So, we thank God.
It's seriously an emotional period because I'm just kind of like, wow. I will keep saying it, we knew Baba from afar, except we had things. But look at it, it's just as if it's Baba sitting down right here in the female version and just listening to you. And
if you see all my siblings, you know, at times you go and the people say, Chomolubadan here. I say, oh, Olubadan, you know. That is, are you the daughter of Olubadan? Yes, all of us are children of Olubadan, you know.
We know Baba Odulano as Kabiyesi. He was a very disciplined man.
Too much.
How do you feel when you're growing up with that level of discipline?
Well, you know, as children, we never really appreciated it. Because you think the man was so, you know, wicked. But as time goes on in our lives, we now begin to see the impact of the discipline. And you know, another thing Baba really taught us is boldness. He will tell you, under no circumstance should you give yourself in. If people look at you in the face, look at them back in the face. Don't be jilty, don't fear anybody, but fear Almighty God. You know, by the time Baba says one or two sentences, God is there. God is probably there about 3 or 4 times. The word God is probably there 3 or 4 times. So, you know, I'm so happy that he was my father.
Wow. Honestly, I was always, okay, go ahead.
As his daughter, what is that one thing, what are those things that you say, okay, people out there don't know this thing about Baba, but you can tell us that in this moment?
Yes, one thing people really didn't know about Baba was, Baba, apart from living a very good life, he took good care of himself. Baba ate well. One thing, you know, these days, we are used to all this Ajabata food, you know, all this frozen food. You know, when we were celebrating his 100th birthday, there was something people didn't add, which at the end I had it. I said, look, for all the years I knew my father, he never ate with his fingers. No. He was always eating with either fork and knife or spoon. Then, he never ate frozen food. If Baba is going to eat 4 times a day, it has to be fresh. It has to be fresh. And he never smoked. He never drank alcohol. It was always water, and he never womanized. I mean, those are just some of the things that, he was a real gem. You look at a man like that, and the man was comfortable. He never lacked anything. And he tried to impact that in us. You know, like I told you, Baba loved education so much that when all of us were growing up and all our children started leaving the house, Baba will now go to the village. Oh yeah, how many children do you have? You have 4. Oh yeah, send one to Shadimi Madam. School boni one law. Law school, yeah, send it to Bali. Iboni kini one she, oh Shanko, send it to Femi. He distributed children that are not, you know, maybe cousins or even from long distance. If you go to them and say, I can't pay my children's school fees, you can ask his PA. We have about 20 children.
And he's
Right.
paying their school fees?
Yes.
Wow.
Because he will tell you, look, oúnjẹ mélòó mo fẹ́ jẹ, his salary, aṣọ mélòó mo fẹ́ wọ̀. What is it that I want that I don't have now? So the remaining money, give it to them. I can mention about 4 or 5 chiefs in Ibadan that Baba gave scholarship when he was in the local government. Because, like I told you, he valued education so much and impacted all that in us. That look, you just have to give back to the society. Give everything you have back to the society so that when you go, what will people remember you for? The legacy. You know, when Baba became Olubadan, he had 3 agendas. And one, he wanted peace in the whole of Ibadan and even Oyo State. And God granted him that throughout his period, and I pray the peace will continue. There is so much peace in Ibadan. There is so much peace in Oyo State. Then secondly, he wanted Ibadan Palace. And to the glory of God, it was started. At least he saw it. It's at the advanced stage. That's another achievement. He wanted Ibadan State. And you know, when we were celebrating his 100th birthday, the then president came and he told him that, look, the only birthday gift you can give me is the creation of Ibadan State. And the man said, Kabiyesi, I will give you that one. David Mark, the former Senate president, came. He said, look, the only gift you can give me Ibadan State. And they all promised. And I'm sure
Definitely.
it will come.
In town, while growing up, Baba on the throne, in town, among your peers, colleagues, what was it like? What was that look like? Omoba, the daughter of Baba.
You were asking me what it is to be
The daughter.
the daughter of Olubadan. You see, when Baba became Olubadan, he called all the children and he said, look, there is no office of daughter of Olubadan. There is no this thing of Olubadan's daughter. Just be yourself. And sincerely, that is what we've been. We've been ourselves, whether we are, you know, before you tell people that you are Olubadan's daughter, they already recognize you. And he told you, you have to behave yourself. Don't spoil the family's name. Just be yourself. Do everything as if you are not a princess. Where it is necessary for me to assist you, I will assist you. Because like I told you, he gave us everything, the best of every education. We all are successful in a different, you know, field. And as such, there is nothing so special about being the daughter of Olubadan, except that people make us feel that we are children of Olubadan. We don't carry ourselves like this, hey, I'm the daughter of Olubadan. No, there is nothing like that. It's people that have called us that, yes, that integrity.
We say a big thank you to you, and
Thank you for calling.
let's celebrate. Let's also be known for great things when we all pass on.
Yes, we should
when
emulate
we-
the good qualities Baba left behind, the qualities that we've learned from him. We should all emulate those qualities.
Wow. Now, Princess, final, because we have to go quickly. Baba, does he sing? What song do you think he loves the most, or he sings regularly?
Well, he sings from the hymn.
Now,
Baba will tell you, Kosoba Bire. That is, Kosoba Bire, Kosi, Kosi.
Wow.
Kosoba Bire, Kosi, Kosi. Láyé yìí àti lọ́run, Kosoba Bire. You know, he loves singing. Baba loved God. He loved God. Anytime, any little thing, Baba will ask you, call me my priest, let us celebrate. Not with not with secular, not whining and dining, not with secular songs, but with, spiritual songs.
Wow. Okay.
all right, Mommy, we really appreciate you for coming this morning. But just before you go, one last thing would you like to say this morning about Baba? Just before we go this morning.
Well, I want to appeal to people that Kabiyesi lived well. There are so many things we need to emulate in his life. And I want to appeal to our younger ones that we should emulate his life. We should do as he did as much as possible. We should fear God so that it can be well with us. We should live a normal life. a drug-free life, a life that is free of thuggery, a life that will give you peace,
Peaceful
a
life,
very
yeah.
peaceful life. So that's just my last word. So that people will celebrate you too, as people are celebrating my late dad. Yeah.
Princess Shade Odulano Bankole, a daughter to Kabiesi Oba Samuel Odulano Odugade the first, we say thank you for coming.
Thank you so
And
much. It's a pleasure.
let's celebrate. We continually celebrate Baba till life.
He lives on. He lives on.
Honestly.
He lives on.
And-
Because look, he established two secondary schools, and there's no way Ibelin Grammar School. The school will not die.
Definitely.
Like Grammar School is there, and a lot of primary schools.
Obviously.
So there is no way he's,
He lives on.
He lives on. Baba lives on.
Thank you for coming, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so
Right.
much for inviting me.
And to everybody out there who's been a part of this, we say a big thank you to you as well. And surely, it's about that time we say a big bye-bye right about now. And I want to really say a big thank you to Femi Mapadero. It's all Komileno. I don't know how to say that thing, but I just...
You know, we all grew up together.
Yeah, obviously, we spoke about it a
Yes,
whole
we
lot.
grew up together when we were in secondary school, and our mothers were so close. Can you imagine?
Seriously.
It's a small
Our mothers
world.
were very, very
Immediately
close.
I told him that, sir, let me call Shadi.
Shadi, yes.
All right, big thank you to you and
Thank you
to,
so much.
to everybody who have worked the
Production
transmission
crew.
team. Thank you for being there. My name is Olatunde Ido.
And I'm Omodile Oyedeko.
We'll be back again, God willing, on Monday on another fabulous edition of Rise and Shine with Opeyemi Ojabanjo. And
Ibrahim Sheta.
but tune in. We still got lots of great programs for your listening pleasure today. Till we come back here again, do have a splendid weekend. We'll leave you with one of those songs Baba
Baba
loves a whole lot. And that's no other person but Oba Kabiesi Samuel Otulano Otugade the First. Till then, do have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.